Hello students. So today we are going to discuss the chapter 2 of our biology syllabus, that is your sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Okay. So plants according to their nature, they are classified into two types. One who can produce flowers and another who cannot produce flowers. Okay. The one who can produce flowers or flowering plants are called angiosperms. Angiosperms. You can note this down. They are called angiosperms. Angiosperms means flowering plants. And where flowers will not be there, no flowers, these plants are called gymnosperms. Okay. The plants which cannot produce flower are called gymnosperms. Gymnosperms. Gymnosperm. Where no flowers are there, those are called gymnosperms, and where flowers are there, they are called angiosperms. So today we are going to discuss about the reproduction, sexual reproduction in the plants where flowers are there. Okay, we are going to discuss about angiosperms. Okay, so let us move on in our discussion. In a flowering plant, the reproductive organ of the plant is the flower. Okay, the flower is nothing but it is a shoot. Shoot means in a plant there are two parts. You already know this. One is your root and the other is your shoot. Here leaves are there. These things the shoot. Okay, so the portion of the shoot only modifies to produce a flower. Flower, what it contains? It contains the reproductive organs, and the organs, in these organs only the gametes are produced. Like human beings have their own reproductive organs, similarly flowers to have their own reproductive organs. Okay, and in these organs only gametes are produced. Okay, so the male reproductive part of the flower is called the androecium, and the female reproductive part of the flower is called gynoecium. Okay, gynoecium is the female reproductive part and androecium is the male reproductive part. This word whole means part. Understood? And in androecium what is present? Stamens are present, and in gynoecium carpels are present. Understood? So now let us see a diagram which will make you clear that what is stamen and what is carpel. So this is a flower. Okay, this is a normal section, longitudinal section of a flower. That means if you dissect it, you will see it like this. And there you will see some different parts. Okay, these parts which you can see where this lobe-like structures are there, these are the male parts of the flower. Okay, the word which you found here, androecium, this is called androecium. From this portion to this tip, from this portion to this tip, these things are androecium. The whole part of this body, longitudinal, this structure is called androecium. Okay, and in this one sentence you found the female reproductive part is called gynoecium. So this is the female reproductive part. This center one, middle one, this is called gynoecium. So from this diagram you can see that gynoecium only one is present and androecium numbers are present. It is just like similar to that of human beings. Like human beings also can produce million number of sperms, but ovum only one is produced. Okay, similarly here this gynoecium is only one and androecium are many. Okay, so this androecium has many other parts. You see, this is the anther, the topmost part, and this long stalk is called the filament. Understood? Similarly in gynoecium, if you see, the topmost part is called stigma. This long stem is called its style, and this is the ovary. Okay, this is the most important part of the female reproductive part of the flower. It is the ovary. Okay, now you see the androecium, where this filament is there, anther is there. This anther is the portion where you will see the pollen grains. So you have already got about pollen grains in your earlier classes. Pollen grains you will see in this portion, that means in the anther. Okay, so now let us discuss, today we will discuss about this. The male reproductive part of the flower. So The male reproductive part of the flower, as I told you, a stamen is present, and in the stamen you will see two parts. Okay, this is the stamen. I told you this entire long part, it is called stamen or this androsium. Okay, same thing, androsium or stamen. See, androsium is the male reproductive whorl, it consists of stamens. Okay, and gynosium is the female reproductive whorl, it consists of carpels. So these are stamens, okay, and this is called androsium, and this is your gynosium, and it consists of this carpel. In stamen you will see a long slender stalk, it is called the filament. In stamen, let us take the reference of this diagram. You see in this flower, these are the stamens, okay, these are the stamens. Understood? And this is not the stamen because this is the female part. These are the stamens, the male part. Here you will see in the topmost portion, anther is there. Here this stalk or this long longitudinal this stem is called the filament, and in this anther only inside you will find the pollen grains. The long slender stalk, it is called the filament. A terminal bilobe structure, it is called anther. Terminal means it is present in the tip. Okay, that's why it's called terminal. And why it's called bilobed? If you see the anther, you will see that two lobes are here. That means, see the structure, it is like this, two lobes, bilobed. Okay, two lobes are there, one lobe is this and another lobe is this, so it is called bilobed. Okay, that's why it's called bilobed, and this is called your anther. Terminal bilobe structure anther, and the proximal end or the filament is attached to the thalamus or the petal. That means proximal end means the end, this portion, this is the end, this is terminal and this is proximal. Okay, this is terminal, this is proximal. Here you will see the thalamus. Understood? Here in this portion you will see the thalamus. Thalamus, M-U-S. So this portion where the filament is joined is called your thalamus. If you see this diagram, it will be more clear for you. See, this is your stamen, this is anther. Here it is bilobed structure, two lobes are there, and if you see this, it is called this filament or stalk, and it is attached to a thalamus. Okay, this is thalamus. If you cut this anther and if you see, you will see in this section, it is a three-dimensional cutting section of the anther. You will see here pollen sacs are there. Can you see sacs? Sacs means it's like a compartment where you will see pollen grains. Okay, and inside the sacs only you will find this pollen grains. Understood? So before the flower starts giving this new flowers, new seeds and new offsprings, it will also have to produce its own gametes, is not it? That's why these gametes, these are nothing but these are the pollen grains. Okay, that's why it's called this pre-fertilization structures and events. Different structures are formed which are formed because of hormonal changes in flowers. Okay, the hormones changed in flowers, because of which several structures will be formed in the flower, and that will lead into the floral development, or it is called inflorescence. The meaning of inflorescence is flowering. Inflorescence means flowering. Okay, in simple words, inflorescence means flowering. Because of hormonal changes only, what will happen? You will see inflorescence. Understood? Now, in flowers, male part is called androsium, as I told you, and female part is called gynosium, and they will differentiate. Differentiate means they will become separate. Okay, and then what it will do, they will produce the different parts, that is male part and female part. Male part is your pollen grains and female part is your ova. It will be present in this portion. So today we are discussing only the male parts of the flower, so we will not concentrate on ovum and how these pollen grains are produced. That process is called microsporogenesis. Okay, microsporogenesis is being produced from the microsporangium, and that's why this stamen, microsporangium and pollen grain, it is a very important event in case of flowering, development of male reproductive part of a flower. Okay. So stamen consists of a long slender stalk called filament, and it has a bilobed anther, and that's why it is called dithecous. Now you see what is the meaning of dithecous. Just concentrate in this word dithecous. Dithecous means it will have two theca. Two theca means two lobe. You see here two lobes are there. Can you see one lobe is here and another lobe is here? So it's called dithecous. Okay, we will call it dithecous. Dithecous means two lobes are there. Dithecous. Understood? It's called dithecous. The anther is a four-sided structure consisting of 4 microsporangia, each in 2 lobes. It is a four-sided structure. Why it is a four-sided structure? You see in this diagram, here 2 lobes are there, okay, but here compartments are 4. Okay, so here in 4 compartments you will see pollen grains developing. Understood? That's why it's called, it is a four-sided structure, and you will see 4 microsporangia in each lobes. That means here you will see 4 different microsporangia in each lobes. Just you see in this diagram. If you see in this diagram, these 4 sections which you can see, these are 4 microsporangia. Okay, this is one microsporangia, this is one microsporangia, this is one microsporangia, and this is one microsporangia. These are microsporangias. Okay, microsporangia. 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 These microsporangias will further develop into pollen sacs. Understood? Microsporangia will become mature and it will develop into pollen sacs. See this, microsporangia develop further and became pollen sacs with pollen grains. Okay, here in this microsporangia only you will find pollen sacs and pollen grains. Microsporangium. Microsporangium means only many microsporangia. Okay, the word microsporangia is for one. There are 4 microsporangias and you will call them together microsporangium. They are generally surrounded by 4 layered walls, and this wall is called the epidermis. Okay, and 4 layered walls is there. First layer is your epidermis, second layer is your endothecium, third layer is your middle layer, and last layer is your tapetum. Understood? You will see 4 layers. If you see in this diagram, it will be clear. This is the diagram of a microsporangium. If you see here, you will understand it has 4 layers. The outermost layer is called your epidermis. The second layer is called your endothecium. Middle layer is called, this is the third layer, that is your middle layer, and inside you will have this tapetum. This is your tapetum, and there inside, beneath the tapetum, you will see microspore mother cells forming. Understood? These are some small cells. These cells are called microspore mother cells, and from these cells only later on pollen grains will be formed. Okay, and this process of formation and differentiation of microspores from microspore mother cell by reductional division is called microsporogenesis. Now what is microsporogenesis? It is the formation and differentiation of microspores. That means the pollen grains from microspore mother cell. That means MMC. These small cells I showed you. So these are microspore mother cells. When from these microspore mother cells or MMC, pollen grains will be formed. The formation and differentiation of pollen grains or microspores from these microspore mother cell is called your microsporogenesis. Okay, and how these are being formed? By reductional division. And what is the meaning of reductional division? It means meiosis. Reductional division means meiosis. Okay, and also you please note down that microspore and pollen grains are same. Okay, microspore and pollen grains. The word microspore is also used for pollen grains. So when from microspore mother cell, pollen grains will be developed by the process of mitosis. It is called microsporogenesis. So microsporogenesis is a very important event in formation of pollen grains from microspore mother cell. So this is the main event how pollen grains are produced. So students, this is the process by which from a microsporangia in the microspore mother cells how pollen grains are produced, and what is the structure and how they are being surrounded by what layers. Okay, so this is how the male reproductive whole of the flower is being developed. That means the male reproductive part of the flower is being developed, and how pollen grains are being developed. Okay, so with this we end the male reproductive part of a flower. In our next class we'll be discussing the female reproductive part of a flower. Okay, so thank you students for your concentration. We'll meet in the next class.